Before going into specific architecture patterns, let us have a brief idea of what software architectural patterns are. These are a set of predefined subsystems and their responsibilities, and they define the guidelines for relationships amongst the components of the system. These architectural patterns are written by people with lots of experience and enable us to use and learn from the vast experience. Applying these architectural patterns to our systems enables us or helps us to promote good design practices, and they enable the reuse of the software later on, as the architectural patterns provide common understanding and common vocabulary for the system design. This is just a brief introduction of software architectural patterns. Let us start with the pipe and filter architecture. Pipe and filter architecture provides us the structure for the system that produces streams of data. The architecture divides the system into small subsystems or small subcomponents, and each of these processing components are encapsulated into filters. These filters process the filter data or processes or filters the data received and can have any numbers of inputs and outputs but defined. These pipes or the streams of data, they are directional streams of data. They pass data from one filter to the next, and usually they are implemented by data buffer and saves data until the next filter is ready to receive the data. There are a few important things about these filters. These filters in architectures must be independent entities, which means the only thing they are aware of the set of inputs and outputs they produce, and they have no knowledge about the states of the upstream or downstream filters. Another thing is that these filters can be of two types. Either they can be active or passive. The active filters, as the name suggests, that they have dedicated threads so that they are always active and always working. And the passive filters, on the other hand, needs to be assigned the processor. So it means they wait for others to finish their work, and then they can be assigned the processor and they can work on the data they receive. One degenerated type of the pipe and filter architecture is an architecture where the filter processing all of its input data as a single entity. This makes the system more of a batch sequential system rather than the pipe and filter architecture where only one filter processes all data and produces output. All of these architectures have few strengths and weaknesses depending on the type of the system they are applied to. The first advantage of the pipe and filter architecture is that they are easier to extend the systems. So it is very easy to add new filters in the system. Another advantage is that they provide flexibility of filter exchange and recombination. As long as the interface is same, we can add new filters or we can exchange the existing filters, and we can recombine the filters to produce new pipelines. And this provides another advantage where you can make rapid prototypes by just exchanging or recombining the filter to produce different outputs and different pipelines. Another advantage is that they can use the multiprocessor systems, as we talked about the active filters, where the processor is assigned to a single filter. So this can enable the multiprocessor system, the use of multiprocessor systems. Another important thing about the architecture is that the analysis and evaluation of the pipe and filter based systems is very easy because of the simple composition of the behaviors involved. Let's suppose if you have a filter where the behavior of first filter is function g and the behavior of the second filter is function f, and x is your input. So you can judge your output by the statement here fgx, which provides the results of your output or your output. Because of this composition, you can easily evaluate the throughput of the system by just looking at the slowest filter in the pipeline. There are also few weaknesses of the system. The system can have a lot of data transformation overhead. Let's suppose if you have a filter that produces integers as output and the second filter in the pipeline after the first filter takes in strings as input. So you have to convert all the integers to string, and this is a large overhead considering we have large system. Another important disadvantage is that the systems can cause deadlock if they are not properly designed. Let's suppose if you have a filter which at least, let's suppose if you have a filter that needs all of the data to produce its output, all of the data from the previous filters. So it has to save all that data and then produce the output. So this can cause buffer overflow and also cause the deadlock. One more disadvantage is that the system is not so good for handling interactive applications where you want rapid responses. One example of the pipe and filter architecture is the Unix shell command. As we talked about the architecture where the system task is divided into small subtasks, and output of one subtask is an input for the second or the next subtask. So what happens here is the Unix shell in the above example, the Unix shell command, where the cat filter reads the file and passes the content of the file to the graph filter. The graph filter selects the lines containing XYZ and passes those lines to the sort filter. The sort filter sets the lines or sorts the lines and passes to the unique filter. So the output of the graph filter, or you can say the output of the sort filter, is an input for the unique filter. The unique filter takes out the unique or removes the duplicate lines and passes the output to the same. So this is how a simple Unix shell command works. A simple task is divided into small subtasks and the output is produced. The next example that we took was online shopping orders. In large enterprise shopping orders, a simple task triggers a sequence of processing steps and each performing a specific function. Let's suppose if we have a order message, the order is encrypted and contains the authentication information so that to ensure that the order is from the trusted customers, and then we have to make the payments and provide the confirmation to the feed and confirmation and feedback to the user. So we need to transform a stream of encrypted message containing authentication information into a unique simple plain text verse. This is how the pipe and filter architecture is applied to do that. We get the streams of data, we decrypt that and authenticate the information, payments are made, and the confirmation and feedback message is sent to the user. So a stream of data or a stream of message order is converted into confirmation feedback and sent back to the user. This is another example of the pipe and filter architecture.